Our chairpersons, Dr. Ved Prakash Bansal, a senior orthopedic surgeon, formerly Additional Director General of Health Services with Government of India, and presently the chairman of our society. Please. Our second chairperson is a highly respected and senior gynecologist from Jalandhar, Punjab. Dr. Chawla is a multi-dimensional woman and has been a big support for our organization. Apart from her medical work, she is involved with many other social organizations and continues to support all of them. Please welcome Dr. Sushma Chawla. Thank you. I will now like to request our esteemed speaker, a senior consultant in geriatric medicine and General Secretary of the Geriatrics Society of India. He is also the editor-in-chief of the Indian Journal of Geriatric Care. He is going to talk about the latest trends in geriatrics. Please welcome Professor O.P. Sharma.
Dr. O.P. Sharma is here before us. He is from Geriatrics Society of India. He is the General Secretary of Geriatrics Society of India, and all of you know that Geriatrics Society of India is doing a lot of work for the aged population, for the geriatric population. And he being the General Secretary, he has got a long list of people who are working in the society, and they are doing commendable work. And Dr. O.P. Sharma is now going to talk before us about the latest trends in geriatrics. We wanted to know as an association for us to know what are the latest trends so far as geriatric population is concerned, how do they manage, how do they think about that. Well, Dr. O.P. Sharma, please, you are on stage.
At the outset, I would like to thank Professor V.P. Bansal sir and other respected person, Dr. Chawla. It looked, I didn't know whether Dr. Chawla came to chair a session or to participate in a beauty contest, the way she is gorgeously dressed. My compliments to you, madam. A teacher-like personality, Professor Jha, Professor Bansal, Ritu, friends, ladies and gentlemen. I am grateful for this opportunity. In every society, there are two posts which are very important. One is the president and other is the general secretary. President is to receive the bouquets and acclamations, and the general secretary is to get the bashing for the things that are expected him to do and to be not in time. I am the one who is receiving the same since 1989. Today, in the given time, I would like to talk certain things which are the latest trends in geriatrics, which will help people understand how to manage the elderly. Not a rocket science, quite easy. When I go for the round, I always tell my juniors and the nurses that geriatrics is so simple. The patient that you are seeing, just look into that patient, your grandmother or grandfather, and your attitude will change. Moment your attitude will change, you will be able to manage better. I've been associated with Indraprastha Apollo Hospital, and certain things, my key interests are nutrition, vaccination and geriatrics. And I had the pleasure of being the chair of Adult Immunization Council of Johns Hopkins in 2015. Friends, Professor Bansal just now highlighted that we are aging, the elderly population is rising. A true fact which we have to tolerate. In 1947, when we became independent, 1/3 of our population was of school-going children. 1/3 of the population was of school-going children, and now currently about close to 12% we have elderly people in the country. And yes, many factors which Professor Bansal said it's not the time to talk about, that is true. Among them, nutrition, better health, control of epidemics, awareness were some of the things which are to be given credit. In the end, of course, we doctors also are to be given credit. Now, aging. In my first book in 1999, which I brought out, the first textbook in country on geriatric medicine, somehow or the other I was not convinced with Oxford textbook of medicine on geriatrics and John Brocklehurst textbook of geriatrics, which only dealt with andropause, menopause and orthopedic changes, genetic changes, brain, that's all. I said, look, geriatrics in India is going to be different. When an elderly patient comes to the doctor, he or she would like to talk of every sickness as well as the social issues. And Professor Bansal just now touched a topic, elder abuse. Very important. Elder abuse, grossly underreported, is talked by the patient only to the family physician when in confidence and alone. There are many theories of aging, and whenever there are more than one theories, you are sure that nothing is concrete. There is something still lacking. They are immune theory, neuroendocrine, free radical, cell aging, somatic error, and the latest one is the inflammaging. Inflammaging is nothing new. The term is about 1.5 decade old, but is gaining importance now day by day. Now, aging actually, because it affects the metabolism, the part of the feeding behavior, endocrine, sex behavior, environment, and immunity. I was rattled by the first data of pandemic of COVID-19 in the country when they said that 14% mortalities or fatalities are among elderly. I was shocked. I said, if this data comes, every elderly will be scared sitting at home and will be getting plenty of phone calls and will not be able to do anything. I made a phone call to Dr. Harshvardhan, who was the health minister at that time and a personal friend of mine. I said, Harshji, please get this data sub-analyzed. He said, why? These are the facts. I said, no, these are not the facts. This is the projection of data. These elderlies who died, did they die because of the COVID? Or did they die because of the aging? Or there are many more factors? He said, what do you mean? I said, many of them might be having terminal cancer, uncontrolled comorbidities, and diabetes and congestive heart failure was one of them. Many of them have been on steroids or other immunosuppressants. So that is what might have killed them rather than the COVID. He was kind enough. The data was sub-analyzed, and they found out that reduced immunity was possibly the main factor. The causes for that were multiple. Well, there are many hormones which play a part in aging, and they are insulin, thyroxine, melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone. The drug actually came to the light only because of one factor, that the pilots, when they used to take night flights and used to miss their sleep, next day they used to be little down. And then they found out that the pineal gland, which makes melatonin secretion, it doesn't induce sleep, but it takes care of the side effects because of the sleep deprivation. So it became a hormone. And the sex hormones, and frankly speaking, the dawn of aging is nothing but andropause. I'm thankful to Professor Bansal for his lecture in DMA about a decade back for that. Yes, Dr. Bansal just now said that we have to do the planning for aging. But the planning from aging or healthy aging, earlier it was add years to the life, and now it is healthy aging. God knows tomorrow what other things are added. The process of healthy aging has to be started from the age of 30 years onwards. That is the time homeostasis occurs. And what is homeostasis? A term means constriction of the body reserves. The hormone levels, they start declining at that time also. The nephron starts declining, and we have so many problems which start coming, and that is the time, because 4 types of preparations are needed. The physical is the only one which we talk about day in, day out, and for which HelpAge is extending all the help, even to the remote areas through their mobile vans, etc. Physical is one, mental is other, social is third, and the main importance is financial. Swami Chinmayanand ji once said, which I will never forget in my life, that the basic of everything is finances. So young people, the financial planning has to start from the age of 30, that you have to remember that please don't spend all your money in producing children, giving them good education, making them well educated, getting them married, getting them having children, and making them fly to other countries, and you are left high and dry alone with your spouse in the country. And that's the time you start crying, oh, my son is in USA but he's not coming. How can he come? There's a difficulty. So you must have your planning starting from the age of 30 onwards. And for that, what is actually needed is a good financial planning, is little bit healthy lifestyle, and a peer group of 5-6 people. 5-6 दोस्त हों, जहाँ बैठ जाएं 4 यार, फिर करना क्या? कोई चिंता की बात नहीं होती. And a friend is one, जिसको आप तू तड़ाके से बैठ के बात कर सकें, जिसको आप गाली दे सकें, वो बुरा न माने. That is the person with whom you can share your problems, feelings, etc., etc. inflammaging. This is the latest something in the aging, and the intervention are there to halt the aging. And the intake of zinc, resveratrol, flavonoids, quercetin, and metformin are some of the things. During the COVID period, we learned that zinc is important. Zinc is a part of immunity. Earlier, as a physician, as an endocrinologist, we used to think that zinc helps conversion of pro-insulin into insulin. That's the only importance. No, zinc has a big role to play in the immunity. Quercetin, there are plenty of things in natural elements like tomato, blueberries, cherries, and basically the citrus fruits. The citrus fruits are the one which really give you good immunity, and senolytics are some of the drugs which take care of the dead cells or senolytic cells. But these are the things of academics. By and large, colleagues, the main thing is the exercise, the calorie restriction, and being as natural as possible. Somebody says, I belong to an affluent family, why should my vitamin D level should be low? That's very true. If you are vegetarian, if you are sitting in your house all the times, or you get into your AC car, go to your AC office, where is the exposure to sun? And in Delhi, only between 10:30 to 2, the rays of sun, which when fall on the body, they generate vitamin D. And that is the time we are never out in the sun. Unfortunately, the outdoor games, outdoor activities are getting limited day by day. And the use of certain things. Well, longevity cornerstone is this only. And it's not only to improve your muscles and joints that physical activity is needed. Physical activity is a part of production of every hormone in the body, every system. Calorie restriction is something other. जहाँ देखा मुफ्त का है, खा लो, खाए रखो, खाए रखो. I have seen many of my colleagues who are diabetics, who are on insulin, who are on multiple drugs. But when they go for the pharma dinners in the evening, and if there are 4 sweet dishes, they refrain from missing even a single one of them. Maybe little bit, but do we every day eat sweet? No. It was not a part of our normal diet. But this calorie restriction has to be done. And then what you do? Practically 10% of the doctors in Delhi, they go for some or the other meeting in the night. The meeting is over by 10:30 or 11 o'clock, and then there is a small chota sa drink le liya jata hai, and then something to munch with, along with that, and the eye is towards the serving counter. And then you have good sweet dish and you come back, and by the time you come back home, it is past 11, you start snoring, and then early in the morning when you go for a walk, your mobile starts ringing, and then you have to, oh no, this one is important, this is important, and even when you are walking, the mobile is on. Somebody asked me a question, that what is the difference between walk and gym? They said gym is so safe, absolutely clean area. I said, look, the difference is the same, which is between fire and a heater. In the fire there is a life. कोयला जल रहा है, लकड़ी जल रही है, चिंगारी निकल रही है, कुछ हिल रहा है, थोड़ा धुआं निकल रहा है, and that life you take care of. Heater is a dead thing. Similarly, just mechanically walking on the treadmill is something like those pornos in which the recording is done, then the sexual activity looks more a physical activity rather than an emotional one. When you go for a walk, you see people, you see birds, you see the road, you see people coming here, there, you interact with them. So, your tension which continues to hit you all the time goes off. Yes, you may carry the mobile, keep it on the silent mode, only for the emergency purposes you might need it, but not routinely. These are the main factors. Curcumin. Yes, we have been talking of curcumin, and haldi something. I remember 65 years ago when I had fallen down, my grandmother haldi ka sek kiya tha. My grandmother used to give me haldi along with the milk, and now the same curcumin is available in a capsule costing 37 rupees. Something remedial. I did an experiment once. I invited 2 more systems of medicine, Ayurvedic and homeopathic also, along with ours. Let's have a joint interaction and learn from each other. I remember the statement of the Ayurvedic physician. He came on the dais and he said, every traditional Indian kitchen is like a mini Ayurvedic pharmacy. I do not know how many of us know the effect of hing, dhania, jeera. Haldi, of course, everybody knows. Salt everybody knows, because salt has been popularized the most by the allopathy. There are problems like carotenoids. And carotenoids, they act like antioxidants. And what are the antioxidants? We came to know only about 35 years ago or so. There is a drainage pipe, or there is a water supply in your house. And in that water supply, the water comes is not of good quality. Obviously, all the pipes will get affected, all the taps will get affected. So you have to clean them. That is called antioxidation. People with diabetes, people with dyslipidemia, hyperuricemia, they have the problems in the blood. There is atherogenicity of the blood, and that atherogenicity वो चिपकता रहता है दीवार पे, and that is what we call atherosclerosis. So उसको चिपकने को रोकने को, उसको scavenging, उसको साफ करना is the role of antioxidants. It prevents the DNA damage, and of course they help in the vision as well. Curcumin, now everybody knows, and spermidine, uracil and coenzyme QA. Coenzyme QA was launched in this country way back in 1993 by a German company. And that time the idea was, because when we take statins, statin lobby is very strong to the extent that they keep on revising their guidelines and we keep on following them. Statin reduce the production of coenzyme Q in the liver, for which the supplementation is needed. But then we came to know that this coenzyme QA does multiple other functions also, but they try to play it down. You put somebody on the statin, you reduce the cholesterol or lipid levels or LDL, what we are talking day in, day out nowadays. But what happens? The person says, "Sahab, ab सीढ़ियाँ चढ़ता हूँ तो थोड़ा दिक्कत होती है, थोड़ी से muscles में दिक्कत होती है." You put the person on coenzyme QA and the things settle down. Well, aging issues Professor Bansal has brought out very nicely. They are health, social, financial, legal, constitutional, and environment. We, the government of India, is a part of signing the International Convention on Aging as early as 1982 in Vienna. But question is what was done for the elderly. And then in the Madrid, it was repeated. But because of aging, the problems that come up, it was way back in 1961 that in this country, pediatrics was introduced. Before that, there used to be a general physician only, no pediatrics. Then pediatrics separated, and then later on, now we have realized that the problems of aging leading to medical problems are slightly different from the normal one, and that's how geriatrics was introduced. And geriatrics is a branch of internal medicine which deals with elderly people. And the game changer was 1998. Dr. Kofi Annan in UN declared that 99 will be the International Year of Older Persons. Sabki neen khul gayi. Even the government of India started a lot of activities, mainly because of the push from WHO, which gave a lot of money. These are the two stalwarts. The man with the hat, Ignat Nasher, he started geriatrics in USA in 1909, and in 1939, this great lady Marjorie Warren in UK started geriatrics, basically because after the Second World War, a lot of youth were lost, a lot of elderly were there, and she was in charge of the biggest ever ward in the world that was 900 bedded. Well, I also thought of doing something. With the permission of my wife and children, I pulled down the shutter of my clinic. That was my only source of income, and for 8 months we were thriving only on our budget, as low as possible. And I brought out the first textbook in India on geriatrics, for which at least for a month I went to the library and found out what all the things the person need. Then with the help of Helpage India, we got the data worked out in Mumbai for urban area and in Vatupura, Kerala for the rural areas. And we had everything that a physician needs, head to toe. We included dentistry, parts of internal medicine, nursing care, social care, financial issues also. I do not know how many of us know what is reverse mortgage. What is reverse mortgage? Many people don't know. This is something, a great facility for elderly. Suppose your kids don't behave with you properly. You don't have to go to the court. There is a law, maintenance and welfare of senior citizens and maintenance and welfare of senior citizens. But that came out in 2019, but but nobody likes to go to the court for that. But there is a provision by in the bank that whatever your property, otherwise तो आपस में बात करते हैं जो कि आप कभी कभार सुन लेते हो ये बुढ़ा बुढ़ी के मरने के बाद ही सारी प्रॉपर्टी हमारी
Dr. Sharma, can you please shorten your talk?
10 minutes more, madam.
10 minutes is too much. No, we talk only for 10 minutes, please. Shorten it, please, as much as possible.
So the reverse mortgage, I don't think many people know. Anyway, I can explain in the outside. Okay. So these are the disease patterns. Now there are many comorbidities. That is the data that after the age of 60, lot of comorbidities occur in people, and healthcare utilization is very poor. And main things are 5 I's which make you feel. Infrastructure is poor, so the only answer with you is to take care of only special diseases for elderly. These are the geriatric giants: immobility, instability, incontinence, impaired cognition, and iatrogenesis. Iatrogenesis is very common because by the drugs that we give, we create troubles. And in polypharmacy is very common in elderly. कुछ joint की दवा चल रही है, कुछ brain की चल रही है, कुछ brain की चल रही है. The person forgets there are interreactions also. Now, what is new for elderly? Main thing is the nutrition. There are various kinds of supplements available which take care of proteins, vitamins, minerals, flavonoids, fibers, and lately the microbiota also. The drugs, there are many things new that have come out. There are safer antibiotics for elderly, safer drugs for heart, safer drugs for neuro. Mostly the B12 and vitamin D supplements are rampant and are quite cheap. They are available. Even stem cell therapy is being considered in elderly. And the teleconsultation is a boon because of the COVID-19. There are a lot of interventions. Now people don't accept the things as they were. People don't want to be look like this. People want to be look like as smart as this. And everybody knows that even in the young, when there are monoplegia, quadriplegia, there are gadgets. In elderly also they can be done. DEXA scan facilities available left, right and center. And you know about your bone strength. And you protect the spinal fractures which lead to lot of disabilities. And when you do the MRI, then you can also pick up sarcopenia and frailty much early than it occurs. Once it occurs, it cannot be reversed back. There are many things that are available in the for young people. The smart watches which are used for elderly also, giving multiple parameters. There are blips which come because of the low oxygen levels. COPD is pretty common in elderly. With them, and there are certain pulse monitors which you can put to your patient with a remote control in your clinic. You know what is happening with your patients. The interventions, they first started in ophthalmology, and the laser was the one. Then came the cardiology, and then came the neurology. And now even the smaller vessels, they can be opened up in elderly, and in Apollo we have done last case at the age of 88. Dental implants, now you have to forget ki, yes, I don't have anything in the mouth. Yes, you can have proper tube. And even the skin grafts are being done to take care of various things. Joint replacements have become rampant and become the bread and butter of most of the orthopedic surgeons now. Every small joint can be taken care, whether it is because of the disease, age or trauma. There are metabolic interventions which help you in the elderly, and even some people want to enjoy their sex life. For that also there are provisions. Well, we have tracking devices which are of great help. Alzheimer है, dementia है, बंदा घर से बाहर निकल के आपको पता नहीं. If you have a tracking device put up, then you can find out where the person is. Now, this is my main interest, that was vaccination. These are the 6 vaccines which we advocate to elderly. I brought out the first guidelines in 2008. The guidelines being followed by India, Pakistan, New Zealand and Australia. And the housing, again, is a very practical issue. Should be safe with remote sensing, so that you are sitting at home and you are watching your parents. If there is any problem, you can do that. Even the transports, people are coming out with elderly facilities. So friends, remote sensing, remote controls, telemedicine, these are the things. Digitalization is coming very, very in a big way even for elderly care. The smart devices used in young can also be used in elderly. Telemedicine, yes, is a boon, and you don't have to visit the elderly people or in the old age homes. You can take care sitting at your place. Main thing is, some 20 years ago there were 10,000 elderly people in Elapuja. I do not know how many they are there. Same is the situation occurring everywhere. Doctors can't reach, so it is the home care health workers who do the job. We are also having a training for them. Geriatrics is a teamwork and many people are needed. Exercise, diets, good sleep, and some goal in the life and some support system that is needed. These are my 3 books on geriatrics, and these are my publications for vaccination. Anybody interested in them, there are a couple of things which I can send online free of cost if I receive a mail from you. Thank you so much. Population will rise, economy will change, with the social structure is going to change. You can't stop that migrations. So let's remain updated for the care of elderly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. O.P. Sharma, for very elusive talk and giving details how the aging population or geriatric population can be looked after. We are going very late, so I would not ask the audience to have any questions. But as I can see by my colleagues, senior friends from the Narayana itself, from society, Elder Society, Mr. Vinay Chopra is sitting and he's making a lot of notes. If I allow him to ask one question if he wants, because he's made a lot of notes and he might be interested to ask any question. You can speak in Hindi, you can speak in English, Mr. Chopra.
You mentioned about the vaccination. So what kind of vaccination and where these are available for the elderly people?
Thank you so much, sir. Vaccination was actually the bread and butter of pediatric practice. Vaccination came to this country because of the help from UNICEF and UN. And that's how and they used to go to the Department of Preventive and Social Medicine. They later on taken by pediatricians. Currently, we advocate certain vaccines to all people after the age of 60 and people with comorbidities. They are, annually you should take influenza vaccine. Annually you should take influenza vaccine, ideally in the pre-monsoon season, but anytime it is available, please take it. Because influenza is endemic in India. It is there always. Number 2, there is a pneumococcal vaccine, pneumonia se bachane ke liye, for severe form of pneumonia. 2 types of vaccines are there. One is taken once and then repeated after 5 years. There is another type which is taken once in lifetime only. Then there is a tetanus vaccine. A booster dose should be taken every 10 years. It protects you from tetanus. Then there is a shingles vaccine. New shingles vaccine has come. 2 doses are there. One say today, other is between 2 to 6 months apart. It's a little expensive vaccine, 9,500 is the cost, but protects you from herpes. Protects you from herpes, and the one who has seen a case of herpes neuralgia, the pain is quite severe, so this vaccine is worth taking. So frankly speaking, these are the 6 vaccines, the pneumonia, the influenza, the DPT, or separately you can take tetanus and shingles vaccine.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sharma. And I hope all of you have listened to this very interesting lecture. And Dr. Sharma has told you a lot of things about the geriatric population, their management, and we are rather grateful to him for this lecture. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir. I would like the chairpersons to please present.
Thank you, Dr. Bansal.
My email ID is opsharma.gsi@gmail.com. If anybody wants copy of vaccination or guidelines, I'll be happy to send the email.
Thank you, Dr. O.P. Sharma, for a very elaborate lecture. And yes, the center match.
Thank you. Thank you very much.